Men who had a woman stop respecting them. What caused her to no longer respect you? My immature behavior and careless words. Went dancing with her. She saw me dancing. Made a bunch of comments about how weird my dancing was. I don't dance anymore. One of the shittiest things anyone can do is make fun of someone who is having fun. Like, you don't make fun of someone's laugh, especially if that person is genuinely laughing. That shit stays with you for life. You do you, man. Dancing is the freedom of expressing happiness and letting go. Giving in to her all the time instead of standing my ground and saying no. Became an alcoholic. She never said it, but you can tell. She didn't lose total respect, but we weren't as good and it was all my fault. For the past half year my wife and I are better than ever and in proudly 13 days sober. Kept breaking promises to improve our communication. Didn't really meet her needs and I never even knew what my own needs were. I cried in front of her. Like, ugly cried. For context, it was about my dad. You dodged a plane. Not really, she was my first wife. Took a while to recover from that relationship. Hit by the plane, dodged a tactical nuke. Same, I ugly cried and it was never the same after that. Now it's hard for me to decide to go stoic or own my emotions. I have no idea and it's affecting my relationships. I wasn't fun anymore. Because I was a full-time student and had 2 jobs to pay the bills while she was a hostess and spent her free time partying. I was focused on us getting somewhere good eventually, and she was all about surface gratifications, and also fucking other dudes who were probably fun. I was an immature, angry, alcoholic man-child 23-year-old. I'm really shocked by all the "she saw me cry" comments. Cried in front of her when my dad died. She acted differently towards me after that. I lost my recording studio and cool career and took too long to get over the depression. Showing emotions. To be more precise, sadness over a budgie that passed away. Losing my own boundaries. I let the world burn while trying to put out her fires. Then I realized what was going on, so I started to communicate my boundaries and what I will and will not accept. Very plain and clear and serious. She would test them and face the consequences. The consequence was me no longer being with her and completely cutting her out of my life. Always hold your boundaries. She kept asking me about my crap mental health and I kept brushing her off. One day it was really bad and she asked again and I thought, well, we've been together almost 18 months. We're each other's first and she really does care about me. Maybe I can open up a little. I could see her recoil as she realized I had actual emotions and trauma. And despite me helping her through all of hers every single time, she didn't even try doing the same for me. She kept making things about herself, completely invalidated everything I was feeling and basically blamed me for the abuse I'd suffered. She very quickly began falling in love with one of her guy friends after that, and it was agony to watch her not even trying to be subtle about it as I tried to salvage the relationship in desperation before giving up and leaving. She got together with that guy and they're still together now, like a decade later. She's been fairly polite and civil to me, but recently I ran into her and she started insisting we go for coffee sometime and catch up. So I wonder if the other guy made the same mistake I did, 'cause every time I see him he looks more depressed and downtrodden. Don't go with her for that coffee. She needs to go with him. Yup, she can go fuck herself. Slite. She saw me cry when my dog passed and we never had sex again. You shouldn't have had sex with the dog to begin with. I've had several relationships end because I've talked about my anxiety. Apparently for some women, emotional support only goes one way. Fortunately my wife is amazing. My wife and I are extremely snarky and sassy toward each other. We have always been this way. When we were dating, and if anything, it's only gotten more extreme as the years go on. If you met us for the first time you would think we are being assholes to each other. But for those that know us, they understand we just constantly give each other shit. Anyways, a friend of my wife came over for supper one night and stayed after for some wine. I had to work late, so I got home when they were already 2 to 4 glasses in. When I walked in I said hello and then almost immediately said to my wife, "What? No supper in the over? Da hell? She replied back with, your hands work, use 'em. I shrugged and said, fair. Heated up some supper for myself and proceeded to sit down with them. Well, fast forward a few days and the friend tells my wife that she couldn't believe I talked to her that way and that she has no respect for a little boy who treats his wife that way. No explanation from my wife on how that's just how we are with one another would change this woman's mind. I apologized to my wife and admitted that maybe I shouldn't have busted out the joking like that, being that it was only my second time meeting her. And this is why I love my wife, she said, fuck her. If she can't respect our marriage then I don't need to be friends with her.